Oh, shit, you're there. Mm. May the GuiltGasm release begin. I didn't mean to get caught there. Did you know that like peanut butter has like mycelial in it? Grows like molds that are like endogenous and like eat into your system and like cause like issues. When I gave up dairy, I switched to peanut butter because it's fatty, it's creamy, and it has all this goodness in it. Only to find out that peanut butter had mold in it. Most peanut butters, I don't know. And I made a decision. I was like, I have to do something that works for me. And there was this experience of letting go of the guilt. Now, I'm actually in a journey of reintroducing dairy right now, which I never, ever, ever thought I would be doing. And that has percolated this experience of letting go of the guilt of choosing foods that actually taste good and feel good in our bodies and that we crave and we want and we desire. Because there's this huge taboo against women having what they desire and being in their pleasure in their relationship, especially in their relationship to food. And there's been so much diet culture and stories about how we should be in relationship with our food and with our bodies and with our desires and our pleasures. And so I wanted to create this video for you to release you from guilt. Now I'm going to overview a practice, and then I'm going to, this month, in the next couple of weeks, something, I don't know, we'll find out. I won't feel guilty about how long it takes me, though, because I'm just offering it, you know, your choice to participate or not. My choice to figure out how long it takes me to do it. I love feeling so guiltless about it. It's so good. Anyway, so what I want to do is outline the concept for you, and you can just then start playing with it already in your mind, because it's really just self-awareness, gratitude, surrendering to your experience, and really enjoying what you're doing instead of feeling guilty about it, because you made the decision. You can make the decision to do the thing or not, and this is really, really crucial in terms of shifting how you feel about yourself while you do things. There's a body of research out there that says that actually women are inversely, like greatly more impacted by stress and how that impacts our microbiome. And so we're already under a lot of stress by being isolated from tribal groups, by being told how to be good and how to be not to be bad, and facing all those social pressures about to be thin but not too thin, be pretty but not too pretty, eat good but not too good. Don't be one of those weird people who eats too good. Don't be one of those slobs who eats too poorly. You know, there's the shame if you can't afford the kind of food that you want to eat, the shame of buying things you know are bad for you or feeding them to your kids. There's all these different pieces, all these different layers of how we relate to ourselves in food. And so this technique is going to give you a tool to utilize in those moments when you notice you're being judgmental and you're being hard on yourself. And you can utilize this in any area of your life. I'm just talking about food because it's New Year's and we're bringing all that stuff up, and it's really a recurring topic that's very, very important to me, because a well-nourished mother in all areas, food as well as emotionally, sexually, and purpose and passion, is a wonderful mother, regardless of where you are on any of those spectrums, regardless of where you are socioeconomically, regardless of how you show up in other ways. When you are well-nourished, you feel good about how you're showing up, and self-love then becomes easy, and it becomes more beautiful and more joyful, and we have a lot more to give back to others. And so, yeah, nourishment is so important to me, and I really encourage you to watch this video and the ones that are coming to get a handle on how to start creating that practice. And yeah, we'll start with that. So the basic premise is this idea that it's the guilt that gets you. So when we are eating foods that we've been told are not good for us, but we're choosing to eat anyway, there's this cognitive dissonance. It's like we're doing one thing, but there's another thing here. The body, the stomach is saying, I want this, and the mind is going don't do that. And then it becomes really, that I don't do that is automatically our body going into fight or flight, which means that we are reducing our capacity to actually digest the thing that we are wanting, that we're putting into our bodies. And so I've said for a long time, it's the guilt that gets you. And so when we talk about reducing or removing the guilt around things, we're actually creating homeostasis. We're creating like peaceful, joyful existence within our body, feeling good, moving into rest and digest, feed and breed. And I'll show you how to use the GuiltGasm energy to bring that breed energy in, to hack the system, to move us into that digest system, the parasympathetic, also in another video. But just the basic idea is that when we notice that we are judging ourselves, shaming ourselves, there's a nasty voice in our head, or we are questioning our decision about what we're doing, or we're not sure if this is a good idea, or going like, well, should I eat that, shouldn't I? And you're sort of in this questioning moment. That is a moment of awareness, and the first thing we do when we have awareness is we are going to celebrate that we are noticing, because so many of our actions are unconscious. Even if you're on a consciousness journey, I don't care. It's like still so many actions are unconscious, just different sets of patterns. Like even itching my head right now. I'm like, oh, why did she say that? Right? It's like, oh, I noticed. Why did she say that? Oh, thank you for showing me that I am judgmental. I am just going to celebrate that I noticed it. That's it. And that literally practice. You can practice that for a week, and you will start to notice that there are changes in how you show up for yourself, changes in how you show up in your thinking, and that actually those patterns of self-criticism, those patterns of worry and anxiety and self-doubt, they start to diminish because we're no longer in these cyclical experiences. Now, that sounds really simple, but when you connect it in with a practice like GuiltGasm, where you are accessing your incredible capacity, enteric, your nervous system is wired to be in pleasure, despite what the Bible tells you, despite what life has told you. Your body is hardwired for pleasure. We all have a capacity for deep, full-bodied orgasms, deep clitoral orgasms, deep, meaningful experiences of pleasure in our body and enjoyment of food. You know, so many women say chocolate is better than sex. Hopefully by the time you're done with me, I will have convinced you that sex worth having is better than chocolate. A lot of sex people are having, especially mothers and especially women in general, is like not really sex worth having. It's like junk food sex versus gourmet sex, and that's a whole other concept. But we want to be in a place where we are enjoying our lives, and it starts with dismantling the self-criticism. It starts with being in a place where we are kind and gentle with ourselves, and even if we are choosing the snack that we know we shouldn't, to be in that action and be kind to the self. Go like, I know that you're saying I shouldn't be doing this, but I want to be doing it. Starts to tune us into that lower center that this is stopping us from connecting with, and go like, but I want it so much that I'm just choosing to ignore this and being in the body and feeling the body and choosing that. And so when you tap in and you go like, oh, I hear that there's judgment, but I know what my body wants, and I'm okay with accepting myself, you know, in that solar plexus, like where I'm at, then all of a sudden the body has the capacity to drop down, be in the digestion, digest that food better than if we were guilting about it, and really support ourselves to be fully in alignment with our actions, right? Because this is going like, you're not in alignment with your actions. Now, you have a choice. You know, you can go like, gimme, or you can go, oh, I noticed, and then choose not to eat, or choose to put down, or choose to throw out, or choose to not buy that thing that you think is causing an issue. Because some foods really, you know, I do have opinions about this, and some foods really are not net harm, or are not net positive to the body, but are highly addictive. So we're talking about things like caffeine and sugar and like chemical products that are designed to, chemical food products, you know, colorings and stuff like that, that are designed to be highly addictive to the brain centers, but also damaging. And you may disagree with me on that, and that's totally fine, and you may really love those foods, and you may feel really threatened by what I just said, but I'm actually going to show you throughout the course of this a way to really shift those perceptions really quickly. You can shift them back if you decide later, like I'm doing with dairy. You can go like, actually, maybe that thing isn't so whatever, and I can, no, but usually for most people, there are foods that you're engaging with, or substances, let's call them, not foods, because our ancestors would not recognize a lot of stuff on the grocery shelf as food. And we're talking about really reclaiming our power back and reclaiming our capacity to be in ourselves and be kind with ourselves and be loving with ourselves and be in that feed, breed, rest, digest, so that we can breastfeed our children more effectively, so that we can be calm and relaxed, so that we can heal, allow our body to be in a natural healing vibration, and so that we can enjoy what we're doing, the choices that we're making better, and to also make better choices, because when we're in fight and flight, our capacity to understand the choices that we're making or to make different choices is really limited, and the corporate companies are really counting on our fear to keep us in these habitual patterns, or stress or anxiety or overwhelm, to keep us in these habitual patterns, that keep us in these addictive cycles of food, and really just letting it go. It's about letting it go and getting in touch with what feels really good. And that might be a bowl of ice cream, or it might be, the food I weaned myself off of ice cream, which is peanut butter and banana without the bread. Who knew? Sometimes I put blueberries, coconut, chocolate, all sorts of other, this is a very, very basic, but it's something that I go like, oh, yeah, thank you. And it feels kind of guilty. I go like, but aren't you supposed to put this on bread and make a sandwich out of it and have these be small amounts of things? And you're like, I'm breastfeeding. I eat what I want. If it's got calories in it, if it's got nutrition in it, if it's relatively high quality, if it's close to a whole food, even if it's not local, even if it's not whatever, it's right, all these things. It's it's not local, it's not organic, it's not, no. It's these are all corporate things that have been put into our brains. And yes, our ancestors really did eat really differently than what is available to us right now. And there is, coherence in aligning with an ancestral diet. But some of those ancestral diets that we remember are also starvation diets that got people through periods of famine and stuff like that. So there's there's what's ancestral, and then what's traditional from our memory, grandparents and great grandparents. For some people that's Cisco, fake chemical plastic lard or margarine or whatever, right? Those are not ancestral foods. Those are foods from 2 generations ago. We're talking back, and even back before, before a lot of the patriarchy stuff came in. Those ancestral foods can be really, really nourishing to the body. And we want to get more in touch with that and with that part of ourselves that can feel really guiltless, that isn't listening to the commercial greenwashing or the commercial, money, sugar, milk, meat propaganda. Not saying that you can't choose to be in those foods and be guiltless about them. If you're going to eat them, be guiltless about it. That's absolutely part of my message. And for some people, they don't serve. And for some people, they feel so much guilt about it that actually the easiest way to get out of that is to stop eating them. And some of them, like sugar, for example, high refined sugars and stuff like that, have such an addictive property that it can be just really easier to phase them out or start doing ferments with them and keep them in that way, that kind of thing. So this has been a bit longer than I anticipated. I will aim to keep my videos short because I know your time is precious, and I hope you have found value in this. I am going to chop out just the practice bit and create a little video montage for you about what it's like, how to go through that process a little bit more, and walk you through sort of a meditation around it. But I just wanted to give an overview, and generally, there is a process. We've got the support chat, and if you are looking for supplements or things to add in that are highly nourishing to replace sort of those empty foods so that your body feels really nourished about taking out other foods, please get in touch with me or shoot a message in the chat, and we can talk about what those are and how I can help connect you with great companies that are doing good work, because I am picky as fuck about what I put into my body. And I've done a lot of that research and a lot of that looking around and going what don't we put in? And a lot of the protein powders out there have all sorts of stuff in it where you're ooh, why is that in there? I don't know. Same with the supplements and whatnot. So you can let me do that legwork for you, and I'm happy to provide recommendations. And yeah, that's all I got for now. If you've been enjoying this, please share with others, and sending you lots of love. Thanks for being on the journey with me.